Night Nation, welcome. We're glad you're here to celebrate a special occasion with us on a Sunday evening to come out and be part of all the exciting festivities. To make sure everybody's ready to go, let's get it going. Go Knights! Today's a special day for the UCF family. We welcome somebody back home to us. You'll hear from Coach Frost in just a little bit. It's an exciting time at UCF, and the individuals behind the scenes did their part to make today happen. It embarks on a new era of UCF football, but yet it brings us back to a special time that all of us have incredible memories of. A national championship season in 2017, and here we sit 8 years later with an opportunity to have our program run by an individual that brought such great pride and represented UCF so well. The new era of UCF football begins today. Let's tell you a little bit about the people that are going to be speaking with us. Our president, our athletic director, made a commitment to find the best coach for this job, and they have found that person with us today. They will speak to you, and then you'll hear from Coach Frost. We'll give the media a chance to ask questions to him. We just ask that you please allow you to be recognized, and please state your name and affiliation that you are with when the Q&A session comes. Leadership's important at UCF. There's no question about it, and during our president's time here, he's made that clear, the role that football and sports plays in the brand that is UCF. Important to grow the UCF brand both locally, regionally, nationally, and around the world. His support for athletics and football speaks for itself. Please welcome to the stage the president of the University of Central Florida, Dr. Alexander Cartwright.
Thank you, Mark, and good evening, Night Nation. Today is an exciting day for UCF as we welcome back a familiar face who has already left an indelible mark on the proud history of our football program. On behalf of our Board of Trustees, University leadership team, and the entire UCF family, it is my honor to officially welcome Scott and Ashley Frost back to Night Nation. It is wonderful to see Scott taking on the role of our next head football coach. I want to take a moment to thank Vice President and Director of Athletics Terry Mohajir for conducting a thorough national search and for his thoughtful and decisive leadership in bringing Scott back to Night Nation. Terry's hard work and vision for the future of UCF athletics continues to position us as a national leader both on and off the field. Scott's impact during his first tenure with the Knights is unforgettable. He built a culture of excellence that led our team to an undefeated season in 2017. But Scott's return is about more than past accomplishments. It's about the exciting future we know we will build together. As president, one of my top priorities is to ensure we foster a culture of leadership, innovation, and excellence in everything we do. Scott embodies these values and understands the passion, resilience, and commitment that define Night Nation. His leadership will inspire our student athletes to achieve greatness on the field and beyond. We are incredibly proud of how far UCF has come in such a short time, thanks to the unwavering dedication of our student athletes, coaches, staff, donors, and fans. With Scott at the helm once again, and with the support of Night Nation, I have no doubt our best days are ahead. Let's again give Scott and Ashley the warmest welcome back to UCF. And let's get them used to, again, what we always say. Go Knights! That wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. Go Knights! That's a lot better. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Terry Mohajir, our Vice President and Director of UCF Athletics.
I think I can outdo the president on that one. Go Knights! Pretty good right there, isn't it? There you go. All right, thank you for being here tonight on a Sunday evening. Appreciate you guys. And I just want to first start by saying thank you to Gus Malzahn and his wife Christy for their commitment to UCF and for the past 4 years. Their work and effort during our Big 12 transition and uncertain times in college athletics was appreciated. It's also, thank you, yeah, absolutely. I'd also like to thank you, President Cartwright, members of the Board of Trustees that helped with this search process. No athletic director can do this on his own. It takes a university to help and support our efforts. I'd also like to thank Chad Chatlos from Turnkey Search Process. I've worked with Chad for many years, over the last decade of being an athletics director, and he has been one of the best in the business that helped us when we did the search process. Anybody I wanted to talk to, he could get them on the phone, so that was great. And also, I know we got some of our coaches and our staff members in the football office. Can you just raise your hand real quick? I'd like to say thank you for holding down the fort this past week during signing day. You guys did an amazing job in an uncertain time. I know it's very emotional during signing day, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I'd also like to thank Alex Mathis and Deshaun Lawrence specifically, because I was on the phone with them a lot. And coaches, I'd like to have my recruiting rankings this past week be evaluated as well. So thank you for your help. I'm just kidding. We were on the phone with a lot of people this week. Today's a wonderful day for UCF football as we welcome back Scott Frost, his wife Ashley, and their 3 children to Orlando. Scott is no stranger to our community or a proud tradition of competition built here. As a coach, he's embodied the spirit and passion that defines Knight Nation. And his leadership during his previous tenure brought some of the most unforgettable moments in our program's history. His unwavering love for UCF makes his homecoming much more than a return to the sidelines. It's a reunion of the energy, the vision, the determination that unites us all as Knights. Throughout this national search, it became evident that Scott's passion for UCF was unmatched. His love for his players, his belief in the potential of this program made our decision clear. Scott's leadership and enthusiasm resonated with the values we uphold as UCF. He doesn't just want to coach football here. He wants to be a part of the community. He wants to inspire student athletes. He wants to carry forward the momentum that defines UCF football. In this country, no 2 athletic departments or athletics environments are the same. There are many variables and factors that equate to each institution's success. And we know Scott Frost thrived in the UCF environment. Most importantly, no one wanted to lead our program more than Scott. And that commitment speaks volumes about his character, his dedication, but most importantly, his love for UCF. As we embark on the new chapter together, we are reminded. Sorry, I get emotional. As we embark on the new chapter together, we are reminded of what makes this place special. It's the people. It's you all. Our student athletes, our alumni, our fans, supporters, all play a vital role in driving our success. Scott's return signals a bright future, one where we can continue to dream big and achieve even bigger. With that said, I'm excited to reintroduce and welcome back your next head football coach, Scott Frost. A lot of tits, man. Any more picture? Sorry. Thank you. We can hold that for you, whatever. There you go.
Well, 10's not my number, but maybe we know somebody else who could use that. I'm happy to be back. I can talk to you a little bit about this process, but first and foremost, I want to thank Terry and President Cartwright for giving me this opportunity. You know, life's funny. My time in Orlando is one of my favorite times of my life. It was a short period, 2 years, with some really good people and some relationships and some experiences that I'll never forget. It was hard for me to leave. It was emotional for me to leave, and there was a lot of pressure for me to go and do something else. Coaching's funny too. You put yourself out there and you compete and you do the best you can, and sometimes it works great, sometimes it doesn't work great. At UCF it worked great. Sometimes it doesn't. And you take a lot of criticism, you take a lot of praise when things are going well, you take a lot of criticism when it's not. You take arrows, you take slings, you take cheers. I was in the NFL with the Rams. I'd like to thank those guys so much for they're kicking Buffalo's butt right now too, but for giving me an opportunity to get back on my feet. And it would have taken a lot for me to leave that. And when these guys called, this is honestly probably the one institution that I would have listened to leave that life and come back to. And the main reason is because of the people that I met that are here, the people that I met the first time when I was here, an opportunity to coach football again and do it at a high level, an opportunity to do it in a great community that my wife and I loved living in, and we can put roots down and raise our 3 children together in a place that we love to live. So I'm grateful to be here. I hope everybody doesn't think we're going to go undefeated immediately. There's some work to do. But last time I came, there was some work to do, and we got the right people, and we did the work. And as a coach, I just miss coaching. Miss being around these young guys and making a difference in young people's lives and a campus and a community. And I'm thrilled to be back, ready to roll up my sleeves and get to work and get the right people in here to do those things. And you know, someday if my legacy is to help this place get from where it was to where it is now, and then come back and help it take the next step and be viable contender for a lot of things, then that's great with me. And I'm excited to start on that process. So thank you very much.
Let us recognize you and the name and affiliation. So to the front right. Yeah, right behind you, Jamie. To your left.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Jamie Say, WKMG. Scott, welcome back. Does this moment feel surreal to you at all?
Yeah, it feels surreal. It feels like it was 100 years ago and yesterday at the same time. You know, pulling back on campus, and I parked in the spot I parked in for 2 years. You know, I didn't think this would come, but like I said, I don't think I would have come back to just any place. But this place gave me a start, and I kind of gave it a start in its own way, or at least I had a hand in that. And the biggest thing, like I said, is my wife and I have 3 kids, and bringing them to a place like this and letting my son see daddy coach and bringing them up in a good place like Orlando is what we wanted to do.
Coach, Brandon Hellwig at UCFsports.com. Obviously, very memorable 2 seasons you had in 16 and 17. I know it was very difficult for you to leave. I know that was a tumultuous time in your life. Just how difficult was that process for you, and was this place something you really thought about as the years went on?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard for me to leave. It was emotional. You know, when you're climbing the ladder of success in life, sometimes they forget to tell you to stop when you're happy. That being said, there was a lot of pressure, and the biggest thing for me is my dad wasn't doing well, and I got to spend time with him. My wife and I were lucky enough to have 2 daughters born at the next place I went, and you know, you have good times and bad times everywhere, and this game, sometimes you get it done and sometimes you don't. We did the right things here and pushed the right buttons and got it done, and I think we can do that again. In fact, I know we can do that again if we do the right things. UCF, to me, is unique in the country because it's still in its infancy. It might be a toddler now. When I came before, maybe it was in its infancy. But most schools in the country, when you look at the landscape of college football, are kind of pegged where they are. And you know, generally speaking, that's where they're going to be. Always thought since the first time I came until now that the potential for growth and status in college football is bigger here than it is other places, and I'm excited to take the challenge to try to get it there.
Scott, Matt Marshall at the Orlando Sentinel. It's been 7 years since you've been here on campus and since you were in part of this program. How have you changed and grown in that time?
Well, I used to play intramural basketball and pick up here at lunch, and I've a little more mileage on the tires now. You know, I'm the same guy. I'm probably just a little longer in the tooth and wiser. And, you know, I think you actually learn more through trials maybe than you do even success. I learned a lot here. I've learned a lot since. Learned a lot in the time this past year out in California. I'm excited to take this on. I'm the same guy that I was, maybe just a little more experience and a little more wisdom.
Hey, Scott. Darren Stoltzfus, West 2, to your left right here. I alluded to a kitchen appliance with your predecessor. I won't use any of this, but pressure. You kind of alluded to it. How is this place different now with the pressures and the expectations that you essentially built, but now coming back to that, how different of a job is this?
I think it's a different job. It's grown, and it's grown because of good people here. The leadership that was here when I was here, the leadership that's here now. Like I said, I like to think I had a little bit of hand in where it's gotten. Certainly the coaches that I work with and players that have been here, and all the people that have worked. It's amazing what this place has blossomed into. Now it's in the Big Show, in the Big 12. I have a ton of respect for the teams in that league. I've coached against a lot of them and understand that we got a work cut out for us. But UCF is a special place, man, and I think where it can go is special, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Coach Trey Strelko, Sons of UCF, welcome back. Do you have a chip on your shoulder, something to prove?
Yeah, you know, being out of coaching for a little while was tough on me because I love it. And I think when you are a competitor, you want to be in the arena fighting. And it would have taken a special arena to get me to say yes and to come to start to fight again. But I know what I'm capable of, and I know what we can get done here. UCF can become great if we do things the right way. And yeah, there's a little bit of me that wants to prove the type of coach that I think I am. And I'm going to get a chance to do that in a special place.
Hey, Coach. Andrew Cherico, student and reporter for the Sons of UCF. When advocating for your hire players like Shaquem Griffin, we're talking about the culture that you talked about, the culture that you built. What does that mean to you and the legacy that you made, and what kind of culture do you hope to bring back?
When I coached here, it was bigger than just any one person. It was about a team. And we got a group that the coaches love the players and the players love the coaches, and we all fought for each other. My guys made every decision they made based on what's best for the man to the left and the man to the right. And whenever you're a part of something bigger than yourself, it's even more special. that's hard to get. It's hard to find that kind of culture. It's hard to create that kind of culture. We're going to have to make sure that we have that again. Honestly, I think it's even harder in this day and age in the new era of college football with NIL and the transfer portal and those types of things. I think you have to be even more conscious to make sure you're getting the right people and that are here for the right reasons. And we'll do the best we can with all that.
Yeah, Coach Mike Bianchi, Orlando Sentinel, welcome home.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Good to see you, buddy.
You too. You alluded to KZ with the number 10 jersey. Have you thought about your staff? I'm sure you have. And you know the lead singer is back. Would you like to get some of the old band back together?
Yeah, I think that's a bad way to put it, but I'm not great at holding the tune, and some of those guys, you should hear them in the locker room. It's not good. Usually when you're going to get one of these jobs, you have a little time to think about it and you're prepared. This kind of came up to me pretty quick. Nobody was expecting this job to be open, and I certainly wasn't in a place where I was hunting for anything. I'm here because this one's special to me, and I want to help try to get it right again. I'm going to be a little more deliberate this time. We have more resources than we had last time I was here. I want to make sure I get the right guys, and there's a few pieces that I know that will be here that I definitely need to help me. Probably one that's already here and has been here a long time. And the rest of the pieces, I'm going to take my time and make sure we get the right team to do the work that we need to do.
Don Struble, Black and Gold Banneret. Coach, obviously the last time you were here, you guys were in the AAC. The landscape for the program has changed quite a bit with the transition into the Big 12. What lessons did you learn coaching in Power 4 that you hope to bring here, and what strategies from your last tenure do you hope to keep?
You learn every time you coach. I mean, if you're not continuing to learn, then you're falling behind. And circumstances are different. Every time you get a job, and even at an individual place, the circumstances that I'm taking over for are different than what Gus took over and what Hype took over and what I took over the first time. And you got to do things right, because winning's not easy. Like I said, I have a lot of respect for this league. I have a nephew at TCU. I've lived in Texas and seen what Baylor and Houston are, coached in the Pac-12 against Utah and Colorado and BYU when I was in Northern Iowa and Arizona State. Not to leave anybody out, but, watching Cincinnati and West Virginia, I know what kind of league this is. Honestly, from afar, watching UCF and rooting for them every chance I got, I figured there might be some growing pains when you leave the AAC and go to the Big 12. First year it kind of didn't look like maybe that would happen, but it has a little bit. And that being said, the leadership of this university has done an unbelievable job to put this on par with the other teams in this league as far as resources. We got it done last time because of the talent in Florida, the fit of talent to our system, and what we could get done with that. And I'm just really confident that if we do it the right way, we're going to have a really good chance to put those things together again.
Jamie Say, WKMG. Obviously, things have happened quickly, but if you haven't already, how quickly do you meet with the current players here, and what is your message to those guys?
Well, my message was we're going to do the little things right. When Terry actually talked to the team right before I did and told them, had met with them, and they kind of informed him what they wanted in a football coach. And one of the first things he said was discipline and accountability. And you can't have a culture without discipline and accountability. That being said, I think we've had more fun here as a group than about anybody in the country. And if you do things the right way, you're going to have more fun. So that was my message. It's a different time. We didn't have many kids in there. It's kind of getting close to Christmas break. There weren't that many, and then this thing called the portal exists. The bad part about that is my first step is going to be to make sure we keep the kids here that we need to keep, and I need to get really familiar with them really fast. And then the second step is to see what we need next. And we're going to do the best job we can with that in a short amount of time. As much as that's hard and difficult, the good thing is, you can get some good players quicker and maybe rebuild some things faster than you could before. But I told the team this too. in this era where players are getting compensated for what they do. I'm really happy for them that that's happening. That being said, I'm going to be of the mindset that if someone comes here out of high school and a Florida kid or South Georgia kid or from anywhere and wants to be at UCF and plays well, I'd rather use our resources to keep those kids loyal and keep them here than try to go get a new team every year.
Coach, Stephen Leonard from Knights 24/7. Yeah, you talked about getting that Florida talent, and you had some limitations recruiting-wise, being a Group of 5 team when you were here last. Now you're in the Power 4. What do you expect recruiting to be like under you without those limitations?
You know, I'm gonna learn on the job as we go along with that. I'm really confident knowing what I saw before. We lost some recruiting battles because we were in the AAC. You know, now we're in the big show, and I think Orlando is the best city with the university in it in Florida. I think it's the best college town in Florida. This campus is unbelievable. That city is unbelievable. And now we're on par with everybody else. You know, in my interview, I kind of talked about this with the guys, but even when we were in the AAC, we went right here in Florida and found some guys that maybe got overlooked by other people. We found Gabe Davis right up the street and Tristan Hill, and they had found Traquan Smith, and we found Richie Grant in the Panhandle. You know, those are some special players, and you're not going to always, you know, get the right ones, but I believe there's so many guys like that around here in this state, and we want to focus on that first. And make sure that we're building a core with an identity, a core with a culture and character, and we can go from there. But without those essential principles, I think you're chasing your tail. So I'm glad to be back in Florida.
Scott, Matt Marshall at the Orlando Sentinel. You built a reputation for UCF fast as an offensive system. Do you plan to implement a similar offensive system this next time, this coming back around, or do you think you'll maybe modify and change some things because of the growth maybe you've had over the last 7 years?
Yeah, we kind of gave birth to UCF Fast and UCF Fierce, and that being said, we're going to do what's smart, and I'm going to put a team together that does things the smartest way that we know how to do them. I think there's a time for some of the things we did when I was here. I've certainly learned some other things. Been in a league where, you know, going fast all the time doesn't make sense because your defense is out on the field too much. You know, I need some time to really study this league and take a look at it, see what we have on our roster, and run what's best to try to give us a chance to compete with the teams in this league with the talent that we have.
Coach, to Mars Hill, Elite Empire athletes, during your time here when you first were at UCF, you created a true culture, a true identity that the UCF fans are kind of expecting now. Again, you kind of created this monster. What challenges do you feel now that we are in the Big 12 that you will face, but also keeping that same identity that you built before, kind of having that chip on your shoulder, that underdog being in the AAC, and not just feeling like you arrived since we are, like you mentioned, in the big show?
You know, when there's a heavyweight title fight and one fighter wins and the other loses and they have a rematch, it's never the same fight. We're running this back, and I made a decision to bring my family back and run this back. You know, it's not going to follow the same script, and we're going to have to make good decisions and do things a little bit different to get it there. And I'll tell you, to get the culture we had, there were some growing pains. If you got the true story from the guys that were here, it wasn't all easy. We had some issues. We had to make some tough decisions, but we got it there. And I'm going to make sure the right guys are here on campus with me to make sure we can get it there again, however long it takes.
Coach Frost, Trey Strelko, Sons of UCF. What was Terry Mohajir's vision or charge to you upon taking the job?
Terry's passionate. I think you could see that when he was up here. I'm learning that fast. I'm really excited to have someone with that much passion and that in that role. You know, I've worked for quite a few people now, and I don't think I've met anybody that probably wants it as bad as I do. Very few want it as bad as the coach does. I think I would have to up my game to make sure that I'm on his level. But I'm looking forward to, nothing can get done alone. Sometimes as a young coach, you think you're enough no matter what the circumstances, whether things are with you or against you, whether the deck's stacked in your favor or against you, and it's just not true. If there's a good organization with good people that are all pulling the rope in the same direction, you got a chance. And I'm excited to actually have a partner to walk through this with, to make decisions with, and again, to try to make UCF relevant and more relevant in the pantheon of college football.
Yeah, Scott, Chris Boyle from the Daytona Beach News-Journal. In working with the Rams over the last few months, what do you feel like you most gained from that experience? And are there things that you saw within the workings of the NFL atmosphere that you plan to bring to UCF as well?
I already said it, but I'm so grateful to those guys. You know, I was trying to decide where to go next in my coaching career and to get back, and Les and Sean and the rest of the people there, that is a first-class organization. And I think that's what I learned more than anything there is just the quality of people they had in that building from top to bottom. And he's done a really good job there surrounding himself with high character, really intelligent people that he trusts to do their work so that he can focus on what he's good at. And I need to implement some of the same ideas.
Hi, Andrew Sagona, Reddit CFB. You may have alluded to this in your introductory comments, but what would you say is the thing that you miss the most about coaching here at UCF?
Well, I miss, one thing is tough. I miss the city of Orlando. My wife and I loved it here. And again, we have 3 children now. RJ, Capri, Alessandra, my 2 daughters. RJ was born here. The other 2 have never seen this place. So we're excited to bring that back. But what did I miss the most is just relationships. The relationships I build here are going to last my lifetime. You know, Gabe Davis texted me today. The video that Shaq put out, Keem put out is awesome. About made me cry. Kalubi Ale came and saw me right away. You can't put a price on those things. And when you've been in the competition and you've succeeded and you failed, the one constant that keeps bringing you back is the relationships with the brothers that you do it with. And I've had good relationships everywhere I've gone. I don't think I have any stronger here than with, you know, KZ and Killens and Otis and the guys that I coach here. And I'm excited to try to build those again.
Hey, Coach. Sean Green, Charge On Podcast. Obviously, you mentioned the transfer portal and wanting to, you know, keep your main guys here, but with the transfer portal opening up tomorrow, you know, how reliant are you guys going to be on the transfer portal this next cycle?
You know, honestly, you got to give me a chance to take a look at everything and see. My feet have been on the ground here for about 6 hours, Terry. I don't know. You know, I know everybody in this league has a chance to win, and I need to take a hard look at everything to see what we need to do to win. And there's certainly some talented guys on this team because I've watched enough tape to know that UCF had really good talent and a chance in a lot of games. Talent doesn't matter much if you don't have character and discipline along with talent. So we're going to judge not just based on the talent that someone has, but are they a fit for the team? And we're going to get this right. And I'm not looking for a immediate turnaround at the expense of long-term success. So we're going to make the right decisions, make sure we get the right people and the right kids, and charge on after that.
Next up, for questions and answers, same deal, please put your hand up. We'll recognize your name and affiliation. Please welcome Vice President, Director of Athletics, Terry Mohajir.
Thanks for coming. That was good. I had to go last, huh? I should have gone first, right? Matt.
Terry, I want to ask, what was this process like? How many candidates did you kind of go through, and when did you zero in on Scott?
Well, let me get my list out for you and show you real quick here. No, I'm just kidding. So the process, we had a pretty good idea about a week and a half before the Utah game that this could happen. And so, of course, I started working on it. And you're always thinking about people. You watch games and you have open weekends and you're always watching things. And that's what I've been doing over over my time, a decade of being an athletic director. And so once we knew that it was going to happen, or it did happen, we went right in on Saturday. We went right into, trying to, finish up the process with Coach Malzahn. And then we started looking. And one of the first things that was important to me was to meet with the football team. So last Monday morning, I met with them at 9 o'clock, and I talked to them. I told the whole staff, and why I appreciate the current coaches that are here tonight. It's very emotional right then. So if you see, give them a hug, and there's a lot of transition going on with them as well, and their families, and a lot of anxiety. And so I wanted to be sensitive to them as well. And so, but I also know that there's a lot with the players. And so I met with them. And I met the staff, and then I met with the players by themselves. And I talked to them, and I said, tell me some criteria, tell me some characteristics you're looking in a new head coach. Just me and the players. Nobody else was in there. And I wanted them to be able to speak freely, and they did. And that's what gave me my marching orders to go find the new head coach. And that's how the process started.
Hey, Terry, Darren Stoltzfus, West 2, to your left.
No.
I'm in the middle.
Oh, hey. Hi.
You mentioned nobody wanted to lead this team more than Scott, but how important was it to do the national search and to go through everybody before you end up right back here?
Extremely. You have to vet everybody. And we went coast to coast, and we talked to a lot of people. We talked to people in the NFL. We talked to people that are sitting head coaches, people that weren't head coaches, that used to be head coaches. We had a lot of people on our list to talk to, and that's why the first couple days, to be very candid with you, the first couple days, you basically are just vetting. I'm trying to update the president on as much as I possibly can, where are we and all that stuff, and you're basically just doing research, and you're watching everything. I'm looking at analytics, I'm looking at interviews, I'm looking at success, I'm looking at past. That's why you have a search firm. They help them with background checks. All that's why a search firm is good to have, because they also know, and they've been in this process, and I feel like we had the best guy working with us. And we vetted hard, and then I present X amount of candidates to this little committee, small committee that we had, led by the president. Obviously was the most important, as my boss and the chair of the athletic association, and then we start from there. And then you kind of start narrowing it down and zeroing in.
Terry, Trey Strolko,
Yeah.
Sons of UCF. During your conversations with Coach Frost, was there a moment where you went, "This is my guy"?
Moment? No, it's just a really good. Not a certain moment, because I asked a lot of questions. I hope there maybe have been a moment when you thought I was your guy that you'd come here, right? Right? Maybe one moment, right? Many. No, I just, I really wanted to learn, when he was here. And obviously, we have a wonderful, that's why I got so emotional, because this place is so special, and the people are so special here, and he knows it. I know it. We all know it. All the leadership of this university knows it, and that's why it gets emotional when I see all of our friends out here. And we talked a lot about that, and we talked about some of the stuff that happened at his next stop, and we just kept zeroing in, and we had other candidates in the pool too that we were zeroing in as well. And I just think at the end of the day, this is the direction we wanted to go.
Brandon Hellwig, UCFsports.com. Terry, kind of along those lines, was there, I know Trace asked about a moment, but what was Coach Frost's pitch? When did you what really sold you that was the right guy for this job?
Well, I started talking to him 2 years ago when we and this is honest to God's truth, about being a possible offensive coordinator. So I started developing a little bit of a relationship with him. He wasn't ready to do it yet, so we've kept in touch. He's texted, we kept in touch. So this week, how many times do you think we talked? 5, 6 times? 6 or 7 times. Just getting a feel. I wanted him to get a feel, because listen, it works both ways. He talked about it, being a partner, We are partners of him. This is not yes, there is an org chart. Clearly, there's an org chart. But to really have successful programs in college athletics, you have to have partnerships. And it has to be an internal partnership. And I think those conversations that you just continue to have kind of resonated to this is the right person.
Yeah, Terry,
Hi, Mike.
I'm sure you talked to people.
You have named our coach, didn't you, a couple days ago in your paper article, didn't you? You're Nostradamus, man.
That would be Nostradamus.
Yeah, okay, thanks. That was good. That was good. That was good.
Did you, the people you talked to about Scott,
yeah.
Anybody stand out, whether it be Sean McVay?
I talked to Sean McVay. I talked to Les Snead, the general manager. I talked to some people that he didn't even know I talked to.
What were some of their messages?
Really positive, really positive. Sean McVay was great. Specifically, I'm going to call you at 8 o'clock Eastern time, this time, and blah, blah, blah. Does that sound like him, Coach? He was very regimented, and he called me, and then I also talked to the general manager, talked to some of the players, talked to a lot of the former players. I really did. That was really important to me. Because they'll tell you the truth. They'll always tell you the truth. You know, there's times where people want to help people get jobs, and you just don't know if they're just trying to help give jobs. But the players, they're authentic. They're really authentic. And those are the conversations. Those are the ones I valued the most. Obviously, his skill set, we know he has a great skill set. Sean McVay talking about his, what he's done for them this year. Obviously, Sean McVay is considered one of the top offensive minds in all of football in this country. And, him talking specifically about some things, X and O-wise, was really helpful. And I think those are just all part of it. It's just not one thing. There's not Brandon, it's not an aha moment. It's just not like that. You have to have continuous conversations to get a feel. It's a feel. This is not a science, it's an art. It really is, I promise you.
Don Struble, Black and Gold Banneret.
Yeah.
Reuniting a former coach with a Power 4 program is kind of an anomaly. What about the opportunity to bring back Coach Frost stood out to you the most, and what feelings did those invoke within you?
Well, it's actually happening. There's success. You see it at Rutgers. You saw it at Kansas State. It happens more than you think. It's happened at a couple others. And, I think I talked about it in my opening remarks is, no two athletics departments or institutions, athletics departments are alike. They just aren't. And they all have different factors and variables that go along. And just because you maybe had not as success at that one doesn't mean you can't replicate what you've done here in the past. And we started talking about sequels. I was laughing. Where's Eric DeSalvo? We talked about sequels. You know what? This would be a good trivia question for Brandon to put online. Your favorite sequel, where the sequel was better than one. Well, I think this is where we're going to be. I think the sequel is going to be better than one. Rocky 2, Godfather 2. I started naming them all. So I was like, so the sequel. So can you handle sequels? Yeah, look at this sequel and this sequel and this sequel. And so we loved it. So.
Terry, what did some of Scott's former players from UCF tell you?
Great culture guy, loved him, do anything they can for him. The characteristics that the current players gave me, which is I've done this before, so it's very similar. You might have some tweaks here and there, but I didn't give them the answers. But I had what the players' characteristics they wanted, and almost every one of them that I talked to named every one of those characteristics. That's hard, and so that's what the former. And one of those characteristics, I'd like to keep that private with the players because I kept everybody out there. He named 2 of them, but there's a few more. Yes, Jamie.
Building a really strong culture here that sustained for a couple of years after he left. Just how important is that knowledge in hiring him, knowing what he did?
Absolutely, culture. A lot of people talk about culture, okay? Culture, where you stand on culture is where you sit. So some people may think culture is really good and you're not playing a lot, or you're playing a lot, and somebody that's a backup that's trying to get in the starting lineup may not feel the same way. But I think that's the question you have to ask. You have to ask the players, okay, yeah, of course, the star player, he's going to say, we had a great culture. But what about the guy that's the special teams guy? The guy that doesn't play very much, the walk-on. Those are the people that you want to find out about the culture. Because those are the ones that are dying to get to that level, and those are some of the conversations I have. That's when you know there's good culture, when everybody feels the same way and is pulling together.
Terry, Tamaris Hill, Elite Empire Athletes, right here in front behind
yeah.
Brandon.
I keep looking over there. You guys are all right here. So.
Yeah, again, you didn't want to go too deep into the characteristics. I was going to ask you what Coach Frost embodied that made him your guy. But what about the identity or the vision that you just see for this program? Of course, you're now here in the Big 12, kind of incubated a little bit. Now it's here. What is your true vision and identity that you see for the program, not just in the community, but really just the on-field product? What would you like to see?
I mean, obviously, we're disappointed this year. I mean, there's no, and I usually do a press conference when a coach leaves, but I usually talk about all this, so that's a really good question. I wasn't able to do that because we were trying to keep our players. We were talking to a bunch of players. I was on the phone with a lot of guys. I was trying to do a little bit of everything, which in the past, you didn't have to do that because you didn't have a transfer portal lurking. When you had coaching changes, you had 25 scholarships, and that's it. Guys stayed. If they wanted to transfer, they had to sit out a year to transfer. So it all changed. So this, I apologize I didn't talk about that. But yeah, I mean, I think it is, I think the sky's the limit, and that's not a cliche. I really believe that we can be a national champion program. I really, truly believe that. And I think we have to get somebody that's smart. He's very smart. Somebody that can create a good culture. He's done that and proven that. Somebody that knows offense, somebody that knows defense. He's been a defensive coordinator. And by the way, I went back and looked at his analytics at Northern Iowa. He did pretty darn good as a defensive coordinator. Played in the NFL, was a high-level quarterback. I coached against him. So he has all those characteristics that a player's looking to do. See? And then now we have you. That's why this place is special, because of everybody in this room today. The people. You guys are here tonight on a Sunday night with your families because you care about UCF football. That's amazing. That's not like that everywhere, but it is here. And I know we can get back.
Hey, Terry, just how much of a look in the mirror was this for the program? How much did you learn about where you are, maybe in regards to nationally or the Big 12, and just how valuable was the information you were able to get out of that?
This process, the information?
Yeah, just what you got from coaching
this year
feedback,
or
no,
this
coaching
year?
feedback in the search.
Every one of them. I mean,
was it a look in the mirror?
I mean,
Did you learn something?
I had sitting head coaches in the Power Four that were playing this weekend that said this is the best job, one of the best jobs in the country. So we had no shortage of candidates, I can tell you that. And I continue to learn, but I knew it, what this place can be, what it can be. This was disappointing. We go back and look at what happened this year. I know, I see it. I've been around it long enough that it wasn't it was that we were very close. But things happen for a reason. And now we are where we are, so we're going to move forward. We're not going to worry about the past. And that's the process. I think, you know what? I think at week 8, if I remember right, Jimmy, I think week 8 or 9, and this is the new age of college athletics, is I think only 50% of FBS football programs were bowl eligible. I mean, even this own state, I think we weren't, there weren't bowl eligibility till like the 7th or 8th week, maybe. I don't know. You guys can fact check me on that. Don't quote me. But I think how do you sustain success? How do you get better? And I think the people that can master that, of the NIL, the transfer portal, he said he has some thoughts on that. And I think you have to hire really smart people, not just do it the way everybody's always done it. We're different. UCF doesn't have to be that way. We can do things differently. We can build from a foundation. We really can. And I've learned that because I heard a lot of coaches say, "Oh, I need the most money." Like, scratch. I need the most money. That's not how you build a team. You know the least amount of money this year in the league? By a long shot, Iowa State. They were pretty good, weren't they? played for the conference championship last night. So that's what I've learned. And those are things, and these are high-level coaches that I've talked to. Scratch. Now, does that mean you got to be competitive? Yeah, we still got to be competitive. Do we have to have rev share money? Absolutely. And we will. And we are going to be competitive. We're going to be competitive in the Big 12 and the ACC and the SEC. We have that type of money. We have it. And we're going to continue to grow. So watch out. Just watch what we can't do next. All right.
Just a couple of quick things. We could a round of applause. Our national champion cheerleaders over here and our band in the back. Little double duty with the basketball game today. Coach Dawkins right there. Congrats on a great win today. And all of our other head coaches, put your hands up and thank them for coming out today on a Sunday. To our Board of Trustee members also today, we thank you for coming out and spending time with us. Thank you to Dr. Cartwright and his lovely wife, Terry Mohajir and his wife. And we end it by welcoming Scott and Ashley back home. Thank you guys. Go Knights! Have a good night, everybody.